Magic is really cool, man. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there arguing that magic isn't cool. Doing things that feeble human beings can only dream of, shooting fireballs, lightning, and the like. However, for me personally, I love it when a show, book, or anything else has a super unique and interesting power system with rules and characters who find loopholes or fun ways to bend those rules. Since I've been so enamored with these magic systems, I figured it would be fun to throw my hat in the ring and try to make one of my own by looking at what other power systems do and building one from scratch. But first, what exactly is a power system or a magic system? Well, to put it simply, a magic system is a method and a piece of media where characters can use unique powers to do cool things, usually with a defined source and defined rules. Some of my favorite examples of these are Curse Energy and Curse Techniques from Jujutsu Kaisen, Allomancy and Mistborn, and a personal favorite, Alchemy from Full Metal Alchemist. But when we're starting by making our own, we need a basic concept or theme to build it off of. For example, the fantasy magic of Harry Potter feels a whole lot different than the more scientific force from Star Wars, at least thematically. A lot of this can be attributed to the setting that the stories are each in. Star Wars is a sci-fi world where Harry Potter is more traditional fantasy, and as such their magic systems reflect the setting. Personally, something I've always liked to think about is that science is Earth's magic system. Think about it. Chemistry is just making potions. We've literally learned how to manipulate light in things like flashlights, TV screens, or projectors. So let's somewhat lean into this and make a more science-based magic system. Alright, now that we have a theme, let's try to figure out how we can restrict the magic. Any self-respecting magic system will likely have some rules to prevent it from just running wild. Some of the best systems out there have some kind of way to make sure of that. Some great examples of these are, you need a material component. It can only be used at a specific time. Make it give the user some kind of physical toll. Only certain people can use the magic, etc. I like most of these and I'm going to use a lot of them, but I don't really like the time and the Nepo Baby one. I don't really get the time-based one because it doesn't quite fit with our scientific theme, unless it's like solar powered or something. And you can only use it during the day, but that doesn't really feel natural, and the second one actually transitioned into our next section. I want this magic system to be something that everyone can use. Magic that people are born with can be interesting, but at the same time, why is it this way? Why can only certain people use it? Is it hereditary? Maybe, but I want this to be something that everyone can use for everyday convenience and not just hype moments and aura. Something that people can use to get to work faster or help them do said work easier. But I also want there to be a cost, something that might deter less brave people from chasing it, but something truly dedicated scholars will have to weigh the pros and cons of partaking in before they commit themselves to it. Now that we have all of this down, let's actually make the magic system. Before I really get into it, I would like to give a huge thanks to Gibster. He helped me iron out a lot of the wrinkles here, so there's a link in the description if you want to check out his stuff. That being said, allow me to give you a little science lesson. But before I say anything or get too deep into this, I will warn you not to take anything I say too seriously. I am not a real scientist by any means. I am barely passing trig right now, so with all that scientific stuff I'm gonna say, please take it with a little grain of salt. Like all good things, my magic system starts in a humble place. A small place. A very small place. No, you're still thinking too big. Yet even smaller. Even smaller. As small as can be. There we go. Atoms. Ours starts in a world not unlike ours, albeit sometime in the future, either decades or centuries, when scientists of the world discover a fourth subatomic particle that makes up atoms. Everyone knows about protons, electrons, and neutrons. Well, this fourth one was dubbed biotons, named for the fact that, for whatever reason, living tissue seems to have significantly more biotons than non-living materials. In fact, some scientists believe this to be the origin of all life, earning it the nickname the life particle. Some of these guys orbit the nucleus of the atom, similarly to electrons, and have the ability to ever so slightly manipulate matter when they bounce from atom to atom. Think of it like a river eroding away at a mountain. The effect of just one drop of water or just one bioton is unnoticeable, but when hundreds and thousands of them do it all at the same time, that's when cool things start to happen. Biotons also have another, more destructive effect, however. When a chunk of material has too many biotons inside it, that piece of material can't hold that much energy and explodes violently. There is a threshold, so an object has to have an absurdly high and unnatural amount of biotons for this to happen, but it can certainly happen, albeit through human intervention only. Learning this, global superpowers create bioton bombs, weapons with unheard of destructive power. And sure enough, when the next major war rolled around, they just couldn't help but play with their brand new toys. Every square inch of land on the mainland felt the effects of these bioton bombs, wiping out all life across the 7 continents. The only shreds of civilization that was left untouched was the secluded island nations that were ignored because attacking them was simply not worth it. Over the next few thousand years, these remaining people traveled back to the mainland and restarted civilization. Much of modern discoveries were lost, many were relearned, but in this time, a new skill emerged: quantammancy. Quantammancy is the actual magic system. Everything before this was just exposition, and it's the act of channeling biotons in oneself to objects and vice versa to take advantage of its matter-manipulating capabilities. In New Earth, quantammancy is treated as a science, and many people know the basics and use it in everyday life. For example, biotons give life, and as so, they encourage cell reproduction, making injuries heal much faster and people live longer, with the average person in New Earth expected to live between 120 to 150 years on average. However, like any good magic system, it has rules. 3 main rules to be specific. Rule number 1. Contact is required. There are a very select few who can snap their fingers and send a wave of biotons to their target, but this is extremely rare, difficult to learn, and the effect is weakened, and the range isn't even that far, only reaching about 10 to 15 feet at most. 98% of the time, contact is necessary. Rule number 2. Quantammancy is ineffective on organic material. Since organic materials have noticeably more biotons in them, any change in it is more diluted. Think of it like how 10 minus 5 is taking away 50%, but 100 minus 5 is only taking away 5%. There is still an effect, it's just much, much less noticeable. And rule number 3. If a person has too little or too many biotons in their body, they die. Biotons are a resource, and as such need to be regulated. Since biotons are what give living things life, not enough in their body makes them fatigued and eventually die, while too many of them makes them explode in the same exact method as the violent bombs of old. With all this being said, those who choose to hone their skills further may study any of the 3 fields, get it? Like scientific fields of study, but also like electron fields, or styles of quantammancy: thermos, kinos, and trasmos. Thermos is the field of temperature. It sees the user, called thermids, manipulating how hot or how cold something is by either giving it the biotons in your body to make it hotter, or extracting the biotons in something to make it colder. This change in biotons must be quick though, as if it's too slow or gradual, the temperature will not change. Whenever temperature is manipulated, the other end of the temperature spectrum will be inflicted upon the user, albeit extremely small to the point where only the user can feel the difference. To put it simply, if a thermid makes something hot, they will begin to feel a little chilly, whereas if they make something cold, they'll begin to feel a little warm. It's a pretty small detail, but it's interesting enough. It's not all good though, as even thermids can manipulate temperature. They are not immune to the temperature changes. Because of this, many thermids have burn scars, blisters where they make contact, and even lose fingers due to frostbite. Despite the risk, many eventually become numb to the pain, so experienced thermids will often be covered in calluses and scars from burns, yet show no reaction when they use their quantammancy. Because of their abilities, many thermids become cooks or chefs, able to quickly heat up or cool down food. Kinos is the field of movement. The users, known as Kenids, are able to manipulate biotons in a fashion that resembles magnetism, being able to stick things together or push them away. Many use this ability to decrease an object's friction, making them able to glide along surfaces endlessly. In fact, it's because of this that many Kenids are in charge of transportation across New Earth, using this method to create what are effectively more efficient bullet trains. Kenos is the youngest of the three fields, surfacing only a couple decades ago. Despite this, Kenos are the most highly respected quantumancers, simply because of how much society relies on them. Their side effects also seem to be the most desirable on the surface, but hide an ugly secret. Kenos sees the user taking in more biotons than they put out, making them more bioton dense than any other quantumancer. The effect of this seems nice at first glance, with them having more energy than usual. Over time, however, the Kenid will become addicted to this extra energy and struggle to function without it, becoming fatigued even if they have more biotons than usual. And since more biotons encourage cell regrowth, many Kenids end up diagnosed with cancer, making it the most life-threatening of the three fields. Trasmos is the field of transformation. The users, known as Trasmids, send a constant stream of biotons into an object to transform its shape, stopping the stream once they're satisfied with the new shape. This doesn't change the molecular composition of the material, however, so if you make a car out of rocks, it won't work because it's still made out of rocks. Trasmos is the easiest field of quantumancy to learn, but the hardest to master. The threat of Trasmos is also very real, as using Trasmos too much will cause the user's limbs to slowly distort and eventually become rendered useless, sometimes even falling off completely, leading to many expert Trasmids being amputees. This doesn't stop them, however, as many of them use Trasmos to forge themselves prosthetics that work exactly like any other limb would. Because of their abilities, many Trasmids become expert engineers or makers, being able to perfectly create any tool or mechanism they need, so long as they have the required materials. However, because of their common shared disability, society often shuns them, despite how versatile their abilities are. And finally, Lumos. What, did I forget to mention it? Well, it's illegal now, so don't even think about getting into it. That being said, Lumos is the field of light, although its namesake is actually more of a side effect than the actual ability. Lumos is by far the oldest form of quantumancy, and Lumids use theirs by overloading things with biotons, making them shine brightly. The main reason that Lumos is illegal is that the point where matter begins to glow is awful close to the threshold that makes things explode from bioton overloading, much like the bombs of old Earth, making it so that even a slight mistake can end up killing the user as well as anyone and everything nearby. Lumos is also the only field where the user is able to impact living things on a meaningful scale, with the user being able to disrupt other quantumancers' biotons to effectively disable their quantumancy. This is another reason why Lumos is outlawed. It's too easy for Lumids to manipulate and become a threat for common people. However, if a person enters this glowing state, they feel a surge of energy, multiplying the power and potency of their quantumancy, kind of like a video game power-up. Despite all of the extremely dangerous effects of Lumos, there still exists an underground group of Lumids, terrorizing the people on the city if they do this gang cult thing wrong. Bioton overloading via Lumos also has the potential to cause structures to violently vibrate, crumbling like more brittle material like stone. These form the four main fields of quantumancy, but unlike other magic systems, you aren't restricted to just one. Instead, you can choose to study multiple fields, and this lets you mix and match your quantumancy with interesting ways, making you kind of like a jack of all trades. That being said, the more fields you study, the less control you have over your fields, as well as becoming exponentially more difficult to learn the more fields you take on. In New Earth, around 60% of all quantumancers are monids, or people who only specialize in one field. 35% of quantumancers use two fields, called dynids, and the remaining 5% can use all three, called trinids. In the entire time that quantumancy has existed, only 3 people have been able to use all 4 fields, with the most recent one passing away just a few years before the story, if this becomes a story, takes place. And while yes, you could easily use this for day-to-day life, like I mentioned before, you could also do some pretty interesting things in combat if you put your mind to it, like using thermos to superheat the air behind a pebble in your hand, causing it to shoot out like a bullet, or throw a punch and light your opponent's clothes on fire. You could use kinos to make your opponent's shoes to the ground, holding them in place, or you could decrease your own friction once you have a running start and constantly zip around the battlefield. You could use Trasmos to make any weapon that you need in a fight, or grab some rocks, put them around your opponent, and put them in a makeshift straitjacket made out of said rocks. There's just so many possibilities. And that's my whole magic system. I hope I managed to hit all the points I meant to hit, and made an interesting, unique magic system for all of you to enjoy. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on quantammancy, as well as what field you would use if they were in this world, as well as how you would use it. But with all that being said, see ya, and stay safe.